On this episode, details about what's going on with Dash Africa, a look at a very busy time for the team in Venezuela, and an interview with the CEO accepting Dash as payment for travel. This is Dash Decentral.
Featuring Dash news and opinion from around the globe, this is Dash Decentral. Now here's your host, Brian Davis.
Hello and welcome to episode number 2 of Dash Decentral. I'm your host, Brian. Thank you very much for joining us as we present news, information, and updates from the worldwide Dash community. Just want to begin this episode by saying thank you to everybody who checked out episode number 1 and left us some feedback or a like or even subscribe to the channel because of it. It appears from the initial reaction that we may be on the right track with a show like this, and we thank you very much for coming along on the journey with us. So let's jump into this episode, shall we? We've said all along we want this show to be about the worldwide Dash community. So this episode, we're going from one side of the globe to the other. We'll begin with a continental team, which is doing an excellent job of informing its citizens about Dash and signing up businesses for integration. We're pleased to present this update from the leaders of Dash Africa.
Good day, Dash community. This is Nathaniel Luz, Dash African ambassador and the project head for the Dash Africa project. The Dash Africa term was coined from the word building a Dash Africa. We've been on to a couple of activities for Dash that is currently leading us to building a Dash Africa, and that's all got the name Dash Africa from.
Hi everyone, my name is Abdullah Abiliki, popularly known as Ultimate Crypto on the Dash Discord forum page and also the Dash communication channel. I'm the CEO and founder of Dash Africa, a group that was brought out of Dash to empower, train, educate, and also spread the evangelism of Dash into Africa.
So the Dash Africa project was funded by the Dash Treasury last 2 months, and we've been on to a lot of things last month. In the month of April, we were in Sierra Leone, we did projects in Ghana, in Cameroon, Nigeria, in Kenya, and Uganda. We've been able to raise new Dash ambassadors. We've had several TV and radio shows. We've printed free notebooks for secondary school students with, of course, Dash articles on the notebooks. We've done a lot. We've reached out to lots and lots of people, and this can be seen as we're the highest users of Dash to refill airtime. And Nigeria was ranked first, Sierra Leone second, and Cameroon in fourth positions of those who use Breathe Refill more in the last 30 days. And I mean, this is a good evidence to the work that we've been doing thus far, because we've not just been promoting Dash as a source of investment, but as a currency which should be used, which can and should be used for everyday activities.
About Dash Africa. Dash Africa is a group of entrepreneurs and Dash and cryptocurrency enthusiasts, in which we actually got together to observe the trend of cryptocurrency and payment solution, in which this group have gone for Dash digital cash. One fact is that we have been able to move Dash digital cash into the entire West Africa. There are ambassadors in Africa in which Dash digital cash are actually grouped, and then they are talking about Dash, and then we in Dash Africa, and then with a proposal we titled Expanding Dash Outreach in Africa, which was sponsored by the Dash Treasury and then the Dash budgetary system. We have actually been able to bring over 40 ambassadors into Dash so that they can also talk about Dash digital cash to their local community, and then teach people about this revolution, get more businesses to accept Dash, get more merchants to use Dash as their payment solution system every day, and also make sure that Dash covers everywhere in Africa without leaving the unbanked people and people that don't have time to actually go to the bank and queue and make transaction in the bank, and also those who actually work and also do businesses all around the world.
So I believe that Dash can help Africa a lot, and the countries I've been working in particular. Let me give you an instance. African currencies have suffered from inflation over time. Aside that, lots of the things we use, especially in especially in technological equipment like phones and cameras, laptops. Most of these things get imported. A lot of people place their orders from the Western world. Now, how do they get to pay? Because our normal bank cards have a limit. Most of them have a limit of $100 daily. So how do you get to buy an iPhone X, for instance, that's over $1,000 with that? And these are the places that Dash has come to play. Another thing is that Dash is restoring the saving powers and the power of savings for Africans. Lots of people who saved money 20 years ago, the money would have lost its value due to inflation.
My final take on this is that Dash Digital Cash have offered myself, my team, my ambassadors, applicants, the entire world the opportunity to remain to send cross-border transaction with a minimal fee on a secured platform that is blockchain technology. And also it has also offered a lot of partnership in terms of payment solution and giving merchants the opportunity to accept Dash and also use Dash every day for the people. Thanks to also the masternodes that have always been giving us support. Lastly, I would also want to thank the entire community for their rampant support as we always bring our project out, and then the support being given and also the idea in terms of redirecting our views and also helping us to build a Dashi Africa, an African that will become a Dash environment, an Africa that will change the world, and an Africa that will change the entire economy using the Dash digital.
Nigeria as a country has the second largest volume of Bitcoin in Paxful, only behind the US and Ghana instead. And this serves as great evidence that Africans are using cryptocurrency for their daily life. Africans are saving in crypto, Africans are purchasing in crypto, Africans are trading in crypto and doing a whole lot. So I want to plead to all masternode owners to give a positive consideration to the building of Dashi Africa and proposal phase 2 and other African and proposals that are currently up for voting. So once again, I'm Nathaniel Luz, the Dash African ambassador and project head for the building of Dashi Africa team, and we look forward to making Dash the #1 used cryptocurrency in Africa. I'm available on Discord as ROTC and on Dash Central and Dash Forum as Nathaniel Luz.
Thank you very much to the African team for that update. They are a busy group, folks, covering the entire continent. Up next, a couple of gentlemen that many of you in the Dash community may already know. Chuck Williams and Danny Sessoms of The Crypto Show recently did an interview with the CEO of a major travel company which has already integrated crypto, including Dash, into its payment structure. Cheapair.com is making sure its customers have lots of payment options.
So we're talking with Jeff Klee, who is the CEO of Cheapair.com. And this is the service that I actually use to book all my flights and hotels and stuff. And the reason I do it is because of cryptocurrency. But, you know, Jeff actually got started much earlier than that. Go, take it.
Yeah, so I was reading a little bit online on Wikipedia. It says that you started Cheapair.com way back in 1989 in your Michigan dorm room. Can you tell us about the story there and how you got to where you are?
I'm dating myself. The company actually, I started pre-internet when I was in college. Initially, it was just kind of, I was putting together spring break trips. And then when I graduated college, I started playing around with selling some discount airline tickets to Europe, kind of while I tried to figure out what I really want to do with my life. And then the internet came along, and I was always, writing code was a hobby of mine, but at that point we were combining two things that I really liked, the travel aspect and then the technology aspect of it. So I think that's when I became hooked and it became a permanent thing. When we started in business, it was pre-internet, and in fact I remember some of our early advertisements, shows you my age. We were advertising order airline tickets without leaving your home. We would it was a call center business. You'd call us on an 800 number and we would FedEx you paper tickets. And, we thought that was so innovative at the time.
Now, fast forward almost 30 years, how technologically, how organizationally, from a product perspective, how does cryptocurrency fit in, and why did you decide to add it?
One day I got one of our customer service managers came to me and said, hey, we had a customer asking if they could pay for their ticket in Bitcoin. So we did some research. We got connected to Coinbase, and found that it would actually be pretty easy for us to start accepting crypto. So we did it. We built it. I mean, really in a couple days. It wasn't a difficult integration.
You actually switched away from Coinbase, isn't that right, to a new payment provider? I wasn't sure if you'd be willing to share like how that came about and what made you decide to maybe go to the next level or switch providers in that way.
So I got a call from someone at Coinbase around, I think it was around March, and they kind of dropped a bombshell. We'd been using Coinbase since the beginning, and they said they've decided they're shutting down their merchant platform. So Coinbase had a real turnkey solution that kind of automatically took care of all that for us. But suddenly they were getting out of that. The Coinbase Commerce platform is different. It's non-custodial. They just, they'll give you the crypto, but they won't do anything with it from there. So that didn't help us. That didn't get us all the way where we needed to go. So we were kind of at a crossroads where, suddenly we had to figure out what are we going to do now. If we want to keep accepting crypto, we got to figure out a new way to do it. And so we ended up going with BTC Pay Server, which is an open source solution. So we're not using or dependent on a processor at all anymore.
One thing that I picked up on there was that it sounds like the community was engaged quite a bit.
I had written an email that we sent out to all of our customers who had ever bought before with crypto, and I think we also put it on Twitter, just kind of asking for feedback and asking for suggestions. And I was overwhelmed with the response. I couldn't keep up with it. As much as I wanted to reply to every single one of them, I couldn't. There were hundreds of people wrote back with their opinions and suggestions, and the opinions were all over the map. But that's actually how I got introduced to BTC Pay Server. I'd never heard of it before, and ultimately that proved to be a really good solution.
I wonder if there was any opportunity that you had, Jeff, to work with Dash Core on the integration of cryptocurrencies.
Particularly in the last, say, 6 months, getting more and more interest in other forms of cryptocurrency besides Bitcoin, and Dash probably more so than any others. We've got a lot of people reach out to us, asking if we could take Dash. What we ended up doing for the other cryptocurrencies that we take, which is Litecoin Dash and Bitcoin Cash, we started using GoCoin as a processor. Anyone paying with those cryptos goes through GoCoin. We did have some conversations with the Dash group early on, but then we kind of jointly decided that GoCoin would be a good option to facilitate that. They had already built up a lot of infrastructure, so by going through them as opposed to doing some sort of or some one-off direct integration, we went with GoCoin.
I do want to thank you very much, Jeff, for coming on. Jeff Cleve, CEO of Cheapair.com.
Thanks a lot for having me.
All right. Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Integration and usability very much in action there at Cheapair.com. Also want to take this opportunity to welcome Chuck and Danny as semi-regular correspondents here on Dash Decentral. Before we go any further, just want to invite you to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And then once you have subscribed below, make sure you hit the bell to be notified every time a new episode is uploaded. I'm still on the lookout for more submissions for a future segment on the show. Send me your 1 minute or less cell phone video explaining the one feature about Dash that has you the most excited and that newcomers should take notice of as well. Send it to the email listed in the description below, and maybe we will see you on a future episode of Dash Decentral. Our final segment this episode comes to us from a country where decentralization is on a lot of people's minds right now. It's also a country where the Dash team is doing an amazing job of getting the word out and raising Dash's profile. Here's an update on the latest from Team Dash Venezuela.
Hello everyone, my name is Eugenia Alcalá and I am the founder of Dash Venezuela. We are very excited and grateful for the invitation that Tao of Satoshi made us to participate in Dash Decentral, and this is the very first video we do for this show. So we want to tell you all about the work that we are doing to make of Venezuela the first Dash nation. We had a very busy week. For example, we had a participation in the course of trading by our allies Uninet. This participation was I giving a class on psychology of trading and also talking about Dash Venezuela and Dash Digital Cash to the 30 participants of this course. They are now in our database and are invited to participate in our trainings and our conference. Also, we achieved a really great alliance with Expo Gastronomía. This is an organization that has been holding gastronomic fairs for over 8 years. In this occasion, we were invited to be with our stand in the 5-day fair, and where there were 70 entrepreneurs of food participating in this edition. 15 of those who already accept Dash, and the others are already invited to come to our trainings to learn how to adopt Dash as form of payment. So, talking about our media work, we had a busy week as well. We had 7 interviews in radio and TV, some of them with my participation, some of them with the participation of our allies from CRIP, and other with the participation of entrepreneurs who were talking about their experience accepting Dash in their businesses. We were, among others, in Hot 94. This is part of the biggest and most important radio network in the country, and we were also in Globovisión, the most important news channel of Venezuela. So in the meantime, we keep working on the production of our 12th conference, the last of our 1-year cycle called Dash Digital Cash, another cryptocurrency for entrepreneurs. We are very excited because in this edition we are going to have the participation of Ernesto Contreras. He's the Business Development Manager for Latin America from the Dash Core team. So stay tuned to the next news we are going to have for you, and we are very grateful for your support to helping us make of Venezuela the first Dash nation.
Thank you very much, Team Venezuela, for the work you are doing in a country where crypto and Dash in particular are playing an important role in giving people some stability through very volatile times. That wraps up this episode of the show. As you have seen, once again, we welcome contributions from all over the worldwide Dash community, and we want to hear from you. Send us your 3 to 5 minute video segment on any subject about Dash you are passionate about, and if you send it to the email listed in the description below, maybe we will see you on a future episode. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below and then hit the bell to be notified every time a new episode is uploaded. See you next time on another episode of Dash Decentral. Cheers!